Welcome back for another episode of the Big O Podcast. I am your host, Julian Ortiz, and on today's episode, I am joined by the GOAT of interviews. He's been on the show twice before, and he is joining me for a very special 50th episode of the podcast. My guy, Cabbie Richards.
Let's get it.
Cabbie, how are you doing today, brother?
I'm wonderful. I can't. You know what? I don't know when you're going to post this, but the news, everybody knows at this point that Kyle Lowry is signing with the Miami Heat in a sign-and trade. So it's like sad to see him go. I was going to say the last pillar of our championship team, but we still have Freddie. We still have Pascal. Norm, at this point of our recording, we're not sure where Norm Powell is going or if he's staying in Portland. But Kyle Lowry would be the first Raptor, should be the first Raptor to get a statue or get his jersey. I guess Vince, I feel like Kyle earned that with Demar. You know what? Man, Kyle helped to bring us a championship. 26 points in Game 6, man, in Oakland to get that thing started. I think DeMar is more beloved, but Kyle might be more accomplished. It's weird. I mean, they're always going to be intertwined forever because they had like a legit bromance and they're great friends on and off the court. So I know this is a long answer, but I guess I'm a little bit sad today. And
it's a perfect segue because, breakups are hard. One side is always left hurting a little bit more than the other, but it's par for the course in today's sports world. In 3 words or less, how would you best describe the impact Kyle Lowry has had on the Toronto Raptors?
That's outstanding. Evolution.
Okay. All right. I like that.
Leadership.
All right.
And success.
I mean, three great words. And I mean, to sort of piggyback on what you were saying, VC might have the jersey retired first, but Kyle definitely has the statue.
Yeah. I'm also going to add donkey. That's another one for Kyle.
Okay.
Because he has a big caboose like mine. So
he's all about that bass.
Bro, there's a reason why, you can't really back him down in the post. I mean, you can, but you're going to have some difficulty. Kyle loved taking on those challenges of being in the low post and having a 6'10" forward just try to back him. And Kyle either steal the ball, he'll get, when the forward turns, their spin, they always have that high elbow. He'll take the contact, draw the foul. I mean, he had such a high basketball IQ, and he also could take on almost any challenge, and he was fearless in that way.
So if we're building the statue and we're putting it outside of the Scotiabank Arena, is it of Kyle going down with both arms because he's taking a charge?
Great question, right? Is he? I believe it's oh my gosh, Bobby Orr's statue is him flying through the air. Horizontally with his chest facing down. Kyle might be the opposite, where his back is horizontal to the ground. Or that's a great one. I think, 2 hands raised after, he hits that shot against Miami, that buzzer beater in 2016 in the Eastern Conference semifinals. I think that's a pretty good one too. Or I guess just dribbling. Or maybe his jump shot. But I like hands raised or him getting flattened by, a Jay Crowder or Montrezl Harrell type.
How much extra granite needs to go into that dump truck? I mean, we've talked about it already, but that thing has got to be a little bit more pronounced.
Oh my goodness!
Maybe even a warning for small children to be careful when walking around that thing.
I wish I came up with this idea, but salute to the great James Corden, who did the fake statue of David Beckham when they were honoring him with the LA Galaxy, and they messed up, they gave him an extra large backside. I mean, his face was a little bit warped. I wish I came up with that idea to do a fake statue for Kyle Lowry, and I'd make his butt look like Charles Barkley's. Where it's right up there on his shoulders. He just reaches over his left shoulder, grab his wallet, like the great Eddie Murphy joke about his friend Doug. That's how I would do it.
Now, obviously, in your time in Toronto, you have had an amazing, opportunity to connect with such athletes like Kyle Lowry. What is your fondest memory of getting to interact with him?
Fondest? Fondest. It was one of the early interviews. I got him to imitate Martin Lawrence imitating Will Smith in a scene
Bad Boys.
from Bad Boys.
Yes.
And he's saying, "I'm Mike Lowry," like on the phone. And when Tia Leone's character calls the precinct and she's looking for Mike Lowry. So I got Kyle to play that scene. And that's a fond memory. And the other one, again, early in my interviewing early in my interviews with Kyle Lowry specifically, I got him to do a bit about self-portrait. So I got him to draw himself, and it looked like a character from Futurama, and it was just amazing. Like I know he was going for the joke, and it was a home run. Those are two of my favorite interactions with Kyle. And then afterwards, actually, when they smashed him and Demar smashed the cake in my face, that was pretty funny too. But I had to throw that shirt away. Anyway, I gave you three right there, but the Mike Lowry, Kyle Lowry bit is probably my favorite.
I find that like vintage Cab and Kyle, like that is like if there was a TV show, that's the trailer, that's what's getting everybody hooked, because that was hilarious. I mean, him trying to say like Mike Lowry was one of like the best things out there. And it brings me to my next question. Now, we're going to go through the rumor mill. We're going to sort of sum up some of, the day one reactions to what's going on in the NBA. But it was earlier reported that DeMar DeRozan was itching to go to play for the LA Lakers. However, the narrative has kind of changed, and now the Miami Heat are in talks to, get him back with Kyle. If that were to happen, what do you think those two bring to South Beach from a personality perspective, as well as adding to the max contract of Jimmy Butler?
Well, they had some leadership. The Andre Iguodala, who's a great locker room guy, great leader. I think they had a team option for Andre's contract, and the rumor is he might go back to Golden State and run it back with those three Hall of Famers, Clay, Steph, and Draymond. But yeah, they bring winning. They bring leadership. The Miami locker room isn't that young. I mean, I know Toronto gets Precious Achiuwa in the deal. Like Duncan Robinson and Tyler Hero can both benefit from someone else other than Jimmy Butler barking at them in practice. Bam Adebayo is going to be a superstar. And then like just the Heat culture, we're going to see Skinny Kyle again. Yeah. Skinny Kyle is going to make a return, and Skinny Kyle is probably like 205, lean. You see the musculature in his triceps, and then DeMar, like that mid-range game, Jimmy Butler and DeMar DeRozan, along with Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Chris Middleton, they're keeping the mid-range game alive. And obviously the NBA game is more perimeter. So Tyler Hero, hopefully, as we're recording this, he is in the gym right now, just putting up jumpers, putting up three-pointers, because Duncan Robinson is top 3 in the game. Tyler Hero needs to channel that rookie, the bubble Tyler Hero, who sort of took the NBA world by storm, and maybe add another shooter, because driving and kicking to create space, that's kind of how the NBA game is played. And with Kyle's veteran leadership at the point guard position, Miami will be scary. It'd be a scary dark horse.
I mean, Duncan Robinson just re-signed, so they're going to have an elite shooting team. And obviously, talk about the leadership and the defensive play of Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, and as well Jimmy Butler. That would be a formidable task for anybody in the Eastern Conference. We just saw a new champion in the Milwaukee Bucks who did things a little bit differently than the, perimeter shooting get you to the championship. Giannis, 2 dribbles from half court and he's dunking the ball. Is that the biggest threat right now, early days, to taking on Milwaukee, or we haven't seen the last of the Brooklyn Nets and even Philly with what they might end up doing?
Brooklyn is the clear biggest hurdle for Milwaukee to repeat out of the Eastern Conference. We haven't seen a healthy James Harden, healthy Kyrie, and healthy Kevin Durant for more than 8 games. So we haven't seen them at full strength for a whole playoffs. And then Joe Harris, he like disappeared. I mean, the playoffs, like the lights are brighter in the playoffs. And then Harris knew his role. He's like, I need to catch and shoot 6, 7, 8 times a game and hit him at a 50% clip. And unfortunately, he didn't do that in the playoffs. So Brooklyn, I think, is the biggest test for Milwaukee. It's still TBD as far as where Ben Simmons is going to end up. I don't think once a superstar is on the trading block, that superstar does not return to the team. Or if they do return to the team, it's not for very long. So Ben Simmons, Daryl Morey is looking for that sweetheart deal. He's looking for, listen, Drew Holiday went for 3 first round picks. 3 first round picks. I think some pick swaps. Eric Bledsoe. Who else? There was a haul for Drew Holiday, and obviously it paid off because that guy was a little bit inconsistent in the first 2 rounds, but excellent in the finals. And boom, Milwaukee wins his first championship in 50 years. Okay, so where's Ben Simmons going to end up? He would be awesome in Toronto's culture because Toronto has such a great winning culture, and they develop their players out of the G League. We saw Fred spend some time there. We saw Pascal spend some time there. And there's also a question, what's going to happen with Pascal? But Ben Simmons, that's going to be, that might be in the top 3 burning questions as far as the NBA offseason. Like, where will Ben Simmons end up? And I love the NBA because it's a 12-month sport because of like the rumor mills and then superstars moving from team to team, and then basketball Twitter being on fire every 24 hours, and Shams bombs and Woj bombs, and Mark Spears jumping in there, Chris Haynes jumping in there. It's man, I love it. It's like I'm just getting fat off popcorn from NBA Twitter every day. That's it.
I mean, 4th overall pick, Kyle, Fred, and OG was apparently the ask for Daryl Morey.
That's ridiculous. And you know who probably floated that out? If I think about it, it might even be Daryl Morey's camp. Like them just putting that out there in the media just to take a temperature of like how other teams will react, how other media basketball writers will react to that, other like basketball pundits who we don't know who Daryl Morey values as far as their opinions go, but it's a little bit of a temperature check. And wasn't there another big reported trade that was it Golden State that turned down, was it Wiggins, Wiseman, and 2 first rounders or 3 first rounders?
It was Wiseman, 4 first round picks, and I believe their earliest draft pick in this year's draft.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, Ben Simmons is a superstar, legit top 15 in the NBA, but that's a lot. However, you're Daryl Morey he's in love with trading. Like, he's one of those guys that loves the transaction, and he's trying to build a championship winner, a championship team. So more power to him. And if he gets that haul that he wants, then Philadelphia, with a healthy Embiid, always a contender.
I mean, if you look at who's got the best assets, I mean, the only team that could really float you 4 first round picks might be OKC. Is there anyone? Right. Is there anyone on that squad as far as player to return that you think would fit into that Philadelphia scheme under Doc Rivers?
Well, I mean, the prized possession would be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Of course.
He's going to be a future multiple-time All-Star. He's got a lot of poise, and he plays great in the half-court offense. Other than SGA, I mean, yeah, Sam Presti has a ton of assets, and like Danny Ainge before him, you're collecting all these assets. They need to turn into all-stars, and they need to turn into all-NBA players. So if that turns into Ben Simmons, then that's a green check mark for you, Sam Presti. But I don't know if SGA is going to be available because he's going to be he is the cornerstone of that franchise. I don't know. I love to speculate, though, dude. What do you think?
I mean, SGA's got to be the guy. If you're going to make a trade with OKC and you're going to get first round picks, SGA's got to be the guy. I mean, unless you're going to involve a third team that's going to give you a prized player back.
Right, yeah, true.
But as far as an arsenal, like you're saying, like eventually those first round picks need to amount to either a tangible player that you can develop and bring up to your scheme and showcase your talent, or they're going to be like, hey, we'll give you 7 first round picks that we don't think are going to turn out to be top 4. We'll even give you unprotected first round picks in hopes of getting something that is already molded, already proven, and just add it to your team. Even if that's to potentially flip him eventually, but like Ben Simmons, I just don't know if Ben Simmons works in OKC. It's hard. Ben Simmons needs to go to a team that has an established role for him, that's not a starting point guard, that's not a guy that is going to be shooting tons of free throws, but can body up on defense and just sort of play his role. He's not a superstar. He's an all-star. But if he's
I disagree.
If he's the number one guy on your team, are you winning a championship?
Well, I mean, you can only say that for like 5 or 6 dudes.
Right.
You can really only say that for 5. Bron, Giannis, Steph, Kawhi. Right? Like
Luka?
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see if Trae Young. We'll see if Joel Embiid. I'd say Joel Embiid's probably. We'll see with Nikola Jokic. But, like, you know, Chris Paul was right there, up 2-0. You know, that list is not that long.
Yeah.
But interestingly, I wonder if how much juice Ben Simmons has. Like, does Daryl Morey, I mean, and obviously we have no idea because we're not in that organization. We don't have any institutional knowledge. Like, does Daryl Morey respect Ben Simmons' wishes? Like, does he say, I want to go to a big market team?
Right.
New York, Miami. I mean, Miami's not a big market, but it has that perception. It's basically like New York, LA, Boston is a big market, yeah. I mean, and Chicago, but you know, Chicago just got their point guard in Lonzo Ball, so
yeah.
I wonder because like if Daryl Morey's like, I'm going to send you to Sacramento because Buddy Hield is a great shooter, and we need to space the floor because Danny Green is getting older, even though Danny Green is a proven winner. Korkmaz's a decent shooter, you know, and like. I think it's who wants out? Bagley the third, I think, wants out. Yeah. They have Tyrese out. Well, no, see, then you're getting duplication at the point guard spot with Tyrese Halliburton and Simmons, and then De'Aaron Fox is. I mean, they say he's the fastest. He has like Tyreek Hill speed on a basketball court. That dude, you're joking about Giannis taking 2 steps at half court and getting to the hoop. You know, in those 2 steps, like De'Aaron Fox may already be at the hoop by the time Giannis puts his sneaker down for that second step. That dude is so fast, and he's a great player too. I don't know, man. I would love to know. I would love to be in like Daryl Morey's like home office as he's fielding calls because basically everybody's available. Like everybody is available at a price, and are you willing to pay that price?
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Are you tired of the nicks, cuts, and an overall awful experience of trying to make sure you're well maintained down below? I know I was, and that's why I've entrusted Manscaped to help provide me the proper tools for maintaining my family jewels. Are you ready for an out-of-world experience, fellas? Well, look no further than the Performance Package 4.0 from Manscaped. Inside this package, you'll find the Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, the Weed Whacker ear and nose hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver ball deodorant, the Crop Reviver toner, Performance Boxer briefs, and a travel bag to hold your whole solar system. First scheduled for liftoff is the new Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer. The spaceship is here to guide you on a journey to trim your balls, butt, body, and even Uranus. This 4th generation trimmer also features a ceramic blade to help reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. The Lawnmower 4.0 has a 7,000 RPM motor, is waterproof, and also has a 4,000K LED spotlight you can turn on and off when needed for a more precise shave throughout your travels across the universe. The Performance Package 4.0 also includes the Weed Whacker. It's like having a little astronaut to chop your worst weeds up top in your nose and ears. The Weed Whacker is also waterproof, uses a 9,000 RPM motor-powered 360-degree rotary dual-blade system. This nose and ear hair trimmer provides proprietary skin-safe technology, which helps prevent nicks, snags, and tugs in those delicate holes. Don't forget to use the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver to help your little planets be on their A game when feeling the sun's heat. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts in their Performance Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Abort hairy balls and Buzz Lightyear that Woody with Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free shipping when you use the code TheBigO20 at manscaped.com. That's 20% off plus free shipping with the code TheBigO20 at manscaped.com. Link is in the description. For a clean Trinity and beyond, your Spaceballs will thank you. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, if you had to be Woj on like either trade deadline day or the opening of free agency, do you think you could handle that responsibility and like the 7 phones you probably have going on? Do you think you could do it for like 24 hours?
Me personally?
You personally. If they were like, listen, Cap, you were taking over for Woj for one day and it's either of these 2 big days, do you think that you would be able to handle it, or would it be like just too much? How does this guy do it?
So if my brain was inserted into Woj's body, like if like we switch brains for
Freaky Friday.
Hours,
Freaky Friday.
Right? Well, Woj's gonna lose his job. He's gonna be fired early. Like Shams is gonna beat him to the first 7 trades, and then they're just gonna be like, Woj, we're trading you to Barstool. Okay, you're leaving ESPN, and we're just or like below like SB Nation. Or actually no, SB Nation above Barstool. Like, you know, I don't even know the organizer. I'm taking shots at these organizations. Yeah. I really shouldn't, because who am I? But I don't think so. You know, I saw Woj. Here's a random story. In 2016, when the Raptors went to the Eastern Conference Finals and they lost to Cleveland 4-2. During the Eastern Conference Finals, before the players would go to the podium, minutes after the game, maybe they'd shower and they would stop. I'm talking about Demar and Kyle separately and speak with Woj before going to the podium.
Wow.
And I saw this happen in Toronto, and I was marveling at Woj's juice and his power with these players. Because like that level of trust is marble. Like it's and also like Woj is getting information that these guys are not going to give the rest of the media and the rest of the press. They're going to give, and Woj, you know, picks and chooses what he shares, and he probably only shares 2% of what he knows. Same with Shams, but I said to him later, Woj, I'm like I don't know how you develop those relationships, and he told me. With Kyle, it started at Villanova. I was like, oh, wow. So, like, even when he was, you know, coming up, but he wasn't like I guess he was a star at Villanova, but, you know, he wasn't like a stud.
Yeah.
Anyway, it wasn't like, was it Chris Jenkins who hits the game winner in 16 or 17? But I was just so impressed, and I just had to give him professional props. I'm like, man, this is incredible that they stopped to talk to you before the media. So I don't know how you do it, but salute to you. So I don't know how you would do in the role of Woj from, you know, 12:01 on free agency, 12:01 a.m. free agency day to like the 11:59. Actually, him and Shams may not go to sleep for 48 hours because deals will still come through on the trade wire after, you know, the start of trade deadline day. So those guys, I mean, whatever they get paid, they earn their salaries.
And it's all the prep work too. Like you're talking to players, you're talking to agents, you're talking to like GMs, and like the amount of information you got to process and the amount of information that you hear of like similar deals, different players being moved, and then one source here, one source there. I cannot imagine, going through something like that. I have 3 kids and I'm struggling with the multitasking of that. I don't think I could do like 3 extra phones and taking multiple phone calls at the same time.
That's where wifey would have to be like, you know what? I'm going to hold down the house. I'm going to hold us down for 48 hours. Or if you're Woj, then you're getting a nanny for like the 2 days leading up to the trade deadline or free, and then 2 days. And then he's got to stay with you guys for a week because daddy's going to be in his office or daddy's going to be in his car, just charger it, and recharging the battery, and you just need a place of peace and quiet. And here's the other thing. They're always racing against the clock. Like Woj and Shams are racing against. It's like Jay-Z and Drake. Like the new Shams is obviously Drake, and Woj is Jay-Z, and iron sharpens iron. But it's always like you check the timestamps on the tweets. Like that is so much currency to those dudes. So I imagine their brains are just like fried by the end of 3 days later after a trade deadline or free agency day.
That's like Rappaport and Chef, like in the NFL, like they're just going back and forth, like Schefter and Rappaport. That's
Ian Rappaport. Yeah, when you said Rappaport, I thought
that was Mike.
Rappaport? I was like, that guy's an insider for what?
Well, Mike seems to be an insider in KD's mind, but that's a story and a conversation for another day.
Man, I would love to. Wouldn't you love to smoke with KD? I don't smoke, and I don't think you do either. But just to spend a couple of days with KD, where he's completely unfiltered, just having just a couple of fat J's. You're playing video games and just hearing all the loose talk. I would just be like this. First of all, contact high for sure for both of us.
Oh yeah.
We're going to be eating so many bowls of cereal and or chips, bags of chips. And then just all the stories, you could just share with one other person on your way back to your house or in the car. Bro, you can't believe what this guy said about Broad or believe what he said about Kyrie or whatever. It would just be amazing.
Yeah, my jaw would be hurting because it'd be on the floor the entire time.
And then Julian, how many baddies would be stopping by in that?
I have a wife. I can't talk about baddies.
I have a wife too.
I plead the fifth. On that one. But
you're Canadian. You can't plead the fifth. We don't have that in our judicial system. We don't have the Fifth Amendment. We don't think we have any amendments in our Constitution.
I'm just incriminating myself. Then it would be fire. It would be. I wouldn't be sleeping for many different reasons. I am sure. But okay, so on the Entourage KD tip right here, if you had to pick a member from the show Entourage that you would be to KD, who would that be?
I'd probably be Johnny Drama because I'm such an idiot. I'm just such a loudmouth. I have very little self-awareness. I don't have the same entitlement as Johnny Drama.
Okay.
But I'd be there to crack some jokes and do some inappropriate things. And listen, I have the body type of Turtle, but I'm 8 inches taller. But I think I'd just be a bit of a wild card like Johnny Drama. And I'd still want a little bit of shine. You know what I mean? But I'd be there for the entertainment.
Hey, listen, people forget, Turtle started off a little bit bigger, but he got lean and started doing big deals.
He really did. What was it? Avion
Tequila.
Tequila, yeah. And that's a real brand, isn't it?
Real brand?
Yeah.
It's a real thing. And then
shout out to what's the actor's real name again?
Jerry Ferrara.
That's right.
Yeah. And then obviously, you go Johnny Drama at the end of the show, the climax of the show. He's the one who wins the best supporting actor before Vince, wins an Academy Award himself. So again, you're lining up with the 2 best players of the crew.
And then in that spirit of victory.
Oh, and you have the best catchphrase ever. So I mean, Cab, you without trying to, you completely
wait a second. Hold on. Okay. Ari Gold, and I'm not sure if we're even allowed to talk about Ari Gold. Yeah. but I feel like it's now but Ari Gold had. And Hug It Out Bitch is a pretty phenomenal catchphrase among his other ones. Just screaming Lloyd, and those are probably the only two PG lines that we could quote from Ari Gold.
Oh man, he has a new podcast. How you
does
live
he really?
Yeah, I think it's called How You Live in J Piven.
Wait, wasn't that just a meme, or is that for real? Have
No,
you looked it up on iTunes or Spotify?
So it's a real thing. He was on the Victory podcast like a little while ago and said that he had a bunch of episodes filmed, but he was waiting for like a distribution, or there was something that he was waiting on. And now he's actually starting to release some clips from the shows that he has done. And Jamie Piven, funny dude. Yeah,
he is a funny. So the Victory podcast is E and Doug. Who's the producer?
Doug Ellen.
Doug Ellen and Kevin. What's his real name again?
So Kevin Dillon, who played Johnny Drama.
What's E? What's his?
Kevin Connolly.
Kevin Connolly. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, Kevin Connolly, Doug Ellen, Kevin Dillon, and then they have a variety of different guests, either from the show or just famous people that come on and talk about the show. Victory the podcast, one of my favorite shows. The podcast just as good, if not better. But yeah, they have some fun. They get some fun topics. They've had Ralph Macchio on the show from Karate Kid and now Cobra Kai. They've had Lloyd was on the show. Rex Lee, I think is his name.
And so here, let me ask you a question. Is the show Dave, do you think that's more like Entourage, or do you think it's more like Girls?
Ooh, I think it's a combination, because you definitely get like the edginess of like an Entourage, and like it definitely pushes it, but like it definitely has like the feel of Girls as well. I love Dave. I think one of the funniest shows out. I think it's on FX.
It is on FX. That's right. Yeah, I watch it on Hulu. I'm with you. I'm a huge. Hi, I'm Dave. I mean, it's just tremendous, and I love all the supporting characters. But my wife said this to me the other day. She's like, I kind of get a lot of Hannah from Girls vibes from Dave, because for those of you guys watching or listening to this, in season 2, his character is evolving, but he's becoming more and more unlikable. Have you found that?
I can see how people would feel that way. I get it. I see that character shift that you're talking about.
Anyway, I should have said spoiler alert, but that was our little non sequitur about Dave.
Yeah. I go back and look at, obviously, do some of the highlights from season 1, but like that rap that he does in the studio with all of the guys, like with the YG? First time, yeah, just I can watch that clip like over and over and over again and laugh every single time, because it is hilarious. Funny dude. Okay, so I want to get into something. Obviously we're gonna have some betting odds that are gonna take place as far as the NBA landscape over the next couple of days. But to segue into betting, your guy, Ocho Cinco, Chad Johnson, has made some pretty bad bets as of late when it comes to like the boxing and UFC world. Obviously, you've done some segments for Bleacher Report. Does he often lose his bets, or is he usually on the winning side of some of the deals that he makes? We just see some of the ugly ones he's done recently, like Logan Paul beating Floyd Mayweather.
Whoa, wait! Logan Paul did not beat Floyd Mayweather.
No, that was his bet, that Logan was going to beat Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd is the one who invited him on the card, and he went. Maybe that was just a squad ride with us. But does he lose? He doesn't bet often, but like the bets that he shares publicly have been losers. Won $50,000 on Jorge Masvidal, and he got his soul knocked out of him. And then he bet on Conor again. He won when he bet on Conor to beat Cowboy Cerrone, and then obviously Dustin Poirier. Yeah. He lost on Conor, busted his friggin' and shredded his entire ankle. And actually, he lost, I think, Poirier McGregor 2.
Yeah, he lost both of them.
Conor tapped out. And what's another? And he also lost Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury 2. So, okay, he's not that great. He's not that great. And I think because he has personal relationships with these athletes, it clouds his judgment.
Right.
So again, he doesn't bet very often, but when he does, it's like the most interesting man in the world. I don't bet very often, but when I do, I take a fat L. He's taking a few giant L's.
So if Chad calls you and he's like, Cap, listen, Deontay Wilder, Fury 3, when it happens, Deontay's been working with a new coach. Deontay's looking good. I'm saying Wilder's going to knock out Fury. What is your immediate reaction when you go to Caesar's Palace to make your bet? Are you listening to Ocho, or are you betting the house on whatever he says, like the other way?
Ooh, great question. I'm going to have to rewatch the second fight because Tyson...
It was bad.
It was bad. And he's so elusive, even though he's like 6'9", but his style is so not random because he's very deliberate with his movements, and he's also like putting on a show, and he's like trying to get into your head and bleep up your strategy. But like Deontay is such all his power comes from like these overhand rights, and he doesn't use his jab very well. So maybe with the new coach, man, I have to watch that second fight again. And then it's hard to beat a man twice. I mean, obviously someone's going to lose twice because it's the end of the trilogy. I probably lean Tyson Fury because he's going to come into the ring with like, a half, like his robe's going to, instead of weighing 35 pounds or 40 pounds like it was in the second one, it's just going to be like a silk robe. It's going to have the Brooklyn bomber in a nice embroidered, maybe Swarovski crystals or whatever the hell, like rhinestones. I'd probably lean Wilder, but I got to listen to Teddy Atlas. I'm going to listen to Max Kellerman. I'm going to listen to Kevin Ioli before listening to Chad, and then I'll make my decision. And if Chad confirms what those other three, like the 2 out of 3 say, then I'm going to rock with Chad, and that'll be our squad ride.
All right. I like it. That's dope. So, talking about Ocho and talking about some of the athletes that you've had.
Oh, wait. Also, I'm going to tap in with Kelly Stewart because Kelly Stewart, she has access to these sharps in Vegas. And be like, Kels, what are the sharps? Like, where are they leaning? And then she'll respond within like 13 seconds. And then sometimes she'll have like screen caps of like, just never the names of the sharps, just like where they're leaning. And that will inform my bet probably more than Chad, and probably more than Kevin Ioli. But I love Max Kellerman. I love Teddy Atlas. Teddy Atlas, old school guy. Max is a very smart boxing historian too. And then maybe even sprinkle in a little Andre Ward too.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Please continue.
Well, listen, Teddy Atlas, like the stories he tells now, he was on, I believe, the Joe Rogan podcast, and he spoke about like a young Mike Tyson, and just hearing him recount what it was like when he first met this like teenage young Mike Tyson, and how he knew he was going to be this great boxer, and all these things that he could identify at a young age before he even really got into boxing heavy. I would trust, like you, I would trust what Teddy Atlas says, because that man knows exactly what he's talking about. And Kellerman, is there a better guy in the game than Max Kellerman?
In boxing, I don't think so. I mean, he jokingly said as an orator, he's of the Malcolm X and Dr. King. He's of that ilk as far as an orator goes. And it's so funny, but I think he believes it. But no, Max is a very compelling boxing mind, and he's like him and Stephen A. are a great mix, because when they're on opposing sides of the argument, sometimes I don't know who to side with, but I'd say 6 times out of 10 I probably lean Max when they are disagreeing.
Wow, I like that.
Or 55 out of 100 times I lean Max versus Stephen A.
I like it. All right, so I need your creativity hat to go on for this one.
Let's get it.
You've had to break down the guard of some of the stiffest athletes on the planet, and you've done so with relative ease. If your assignment was to create a segment with the man himself, Tony Soprano, at the Bada Bing, what content are you coming away with?
Wow. Rest in peace, James Gandolfini. Tony Soprano. Good Lord. I'd probably, good Lord. I'd want to do maybe some kind of like Rorschach test.
Okay.
Like I got to play a game because I want him to I want him to have fun. So I was thinking my brain initially went to like chess, checkers, but that's boring for the audience. Connect Four is a fun game. And then like, because like he spent so much time in therapy in the show, like, is there a game where I could like play like Heads Up or Pictionary or something where I want him to be creative, and I also want the audience to experience how he thinks. So a Rorschach test of like either former gangsters or animals, like, oh, I see a leopard here, or I see a pelican, or I see a grizzly bear. No, I see a Komodo dragon. I don't know. I don't even know if these Rorschachs exist, but I'd try to do something like that. But I think Connect Four would be a fun one because it's so visual and it's a game that I feel like everybody's played. So we're like, oh, and everybody has like a basic strategy to that game, and I would probably lose, which would make it more entertaining for the audience.
Would you purposely lose knowing what could happen if you were to take on and beat the great Tony Soprano?
Yes, John. Yeah, Julian, you know exactly where I'm going. Listen, it's about my survival, my friend. Okay? When who's the great biologist, anthropologist, the most famed anthropologist who wrote the species of, oh my goodness, I'm having a brain freeze. And he wrote about like the dodo bird and like other, Charles Darwin.
There we go.
Survival of the fittest. I am not the fittest human as far as health goes, but my mind is sharp and I want to survive. So yes, I would likely lose to Tony Soprano so I could leave the room and then fly back to Canada safely.
Yeah, you don't want to go down that Jersey Turnpike, right?
Absolutely not.
You're getting on that plane as quickly as you can and back to safety. Oh, man. All right. Two more things before I let you go. I know you're a busy man. Overreaction Monday. What has been the best acquisition and first day of the free agency flirting period?
Oh, that's tremendous. The best acquisition. Wow, this is going to sound weird. Oh man, you really got. Okay, so my first instinct went to Lonzo Ball in Chicago to play with Vucevic and Zach LaVine, because Lonzo is an up tempo. He loves to get up and down the floor. Not great in the half court set, but a dynamic point guard. Plays pretty good defense. I think he shot 38% from downtown this year, so he's evolving as a shooter. I think he came in the league shooting 30 or sub 30 from downtown. So he might be responsible for 3 or 4 wins, which would get them maybe the 8th spot or get them north of the play-in tournament. Because and then I thought about Russ. Like Russ on the Lakers is box office and obviously will dominate the basketball Twitter. And there's so many complications with Russ going to the Lakers.
Yeah.
Who's going to tell Russ what to do? Is it Bron? No, we know Bron is passive aggressive. Is it AD? Like, no, Russell Westbrook will bite his face. But as far as longevity goes, like LeBron James's window is like razor thin, bro.
Right.
He's still elite. So he has what? How many more years would you say LeBron James has as an elite player? Two?
Two? Maybe
two?
Maybe two.
As in, like, top 10 in the game.
Yeah.
Because other guys are coming for that. I mean, you mentioned Luka earlier. We spoke about Trae Young. Like, guys are coming, like Dame Lillard, Donovan Mitchell, Nikola Jokic. Like, anyway, so there are going to be games where LeBron's going to take a night off. Like, he might play 3 or 4 games in a stretch. He might play 3 or 5 games in a stretch. He's got to save those knees, that back, and those ankles.
Yep.
And we know how Russ plays at 1,000%. And if Bron plays 32, 34, 36 minutes a night, Russell's going to want to carry that team. And AD's not going to like the idea of playing the 5, but will probably sacrifice for the greater good and the goal of winning another title. So it's good. You know that the Lakers will be on national television. They're going to be on every, like, TNT, every possible TNT, every possible ESPN, every possible ABC game for the 82 game. Even when they play the Sacramento Kings, they're going to be on TNT. Even when they play the lowly Detroit Pistons, they're going to be on ESPN. And it's going to be amazing to watch. But I think Lonzo or Kyle, and I know that's such an East Coast bias because I'm from Toronto. We're both from Toronto. But Lonzo, man, for now, you know what? And I probably should have thought about it more, but I'm just going gut reaction without doing as much research as I really needed to do, Julian.
I mean, one could argue Chris Paul going back on a 4-year, $120 million deal is
that
good.
What he signed for?
Yeah, so he went back. He took $30 million, which was less than I believe what his player option was going to allow him.
44.
44. There you go. So yeah, so he 4 years, 120. Cameron Payne's re-signed as well in Phoenix. So they're putting the pieces together, but like the Lakers, they are still a few pieces away because we know based on what just happened, we traded half of the team away to Washington to get Russ. You still need to fill in the void because we saw what happens. AD goes down, LeBron goes down. There wasn't really anybody else making that team a competitive team. Now you've lost Kuzma, you've lost Montrezl Harrell. Like, you need to still get guys. You got to fill the void with a Melo, with a DeMar DeRozan. Like, if they could get one other tier 2 star, does that push the Lakers to a position where they can compete for the title again?
I think they need 2 shooters, Jules. Like,
okay.
Like KCP he's a nice player, but there was a time when Bron pulled him aside. I think this clip was circulating on Twitter around either the beginning, they only played in 1 round. So
yeah,
it was either at the end of the season or in that series against Phoenix. He's like, we need you to shoot. We want you to shoot. And I know that GM Rob Pelinka is like, I'm taking the Russ deal, even though the Buddy Hield opportunity was on the table. Buddy Hield, who has never been in winning culture, imagine him playing with LeBron. Just what that would do for his confidence and or anxiety, because he's playing with top 2 greatest of all time. But him as a catch and shoot shooter, just post up in the corner and just wait for the ball to come, because it will come when Bron or Russ are collapsing the defense. They're going to move the ball around. There's going to be an open shot from the corner, and that's where Buddy Hield can do some damage. I think they need a couple of shooters, man. Everybody needs and loves a Jay Crowder, a 3-and-D guy. And Buddy Hield is not a D, but he is a 3. So they need to find a few guys like that who will either sacrifice some salary and take the veteran minimum in order for the very real chance of winning an NBA championship, and then their lives change forever. So obviously there are more pieces to be added to the Lakers and some more players to be moving around the league, but I believe they really need shooting at this point.
If I were to tell you that Russell Westbrook wins the MVP next season, what do you think? What do you think that means for how the Lakers did in the 2021-2022 season?
Well, that means that either Anthony Davis or LeBron James is out for a significant amount of time. And then Russ can just fill the stat sheet like he's been doing for the last 4 years, averaging a triple-double and like big boy triple-doubles. Didn't he have a 30 and 20 game?
Yeah.
Or like a 15, 20 and 20 game, like big boy triple-doubles. So that's probably what would have to happen. And they'd have to be a top 3 team in the conference. Like Jokic just got, or the Denver Nuggets barely made the 3 seed, and I think that's what pushed MVP vote. No, he got like 90 votes. 90. What am I talking about?
Yeah,
it was a well, it certainly bolstered his MVP contention by finishing third by Denver finishing third in the Western Conference. So top 3 finish for Russ and the Lakers, and that would be tremendous, man. I'm here for all of it. I love the theater of the NBA. So even in the first, Jules, like the first time you see an argument between the two,
oh yeah,
like it's going to be the topic of conversation on every sports radio show, your podcast, friggin' so many different sports podcasts. It might even make Good Morning America if those two are seen. Like if Russell Westbrook is barking at LeBron James the way that Draymond Green was barking at Kevin Durant. You remember that famous clip?
Oh yeah.
If that happens in LA, man, I am here for all of it, and it's going to be it's going to be so fun as the audience to experience that. Not for the players at all, but for the audience for sure.
I can't wait for the first time someone from the LA media asks Russ a terrible question, and Russ just gives him that like stink face.
Yes.
And then LeBron's like, all right, let's just go. And they just like leave the presser. Like they just like, don't even answer that, my guy. Like we're out. Like we're done. Because like that's what I'm ready for. I'm waiting for the Hollywoodesque, that we're gonna get. It's gonna be Hollywood in LA.
And so how do you feel about the Caruso leaving to the Caruso? He's in Chicago now. Speaking about Hollywood, like they need a guy who's going to play really good on ball and off ball defense. Who's not like and Milwaukee. I mean, they still won the title, but they really missed Dante DiVincenzo because you need a guy who's going to do some dirty work. Who's like, he'll be rewarded with a fast break and an alley oop at the rim because Caruso liked to dunk and DiVincenzo as well. But I don't know if the Lakers have one of those down and dirty dudes that's going to produce some turnovers, gonna get maybe a steal, maybe 2 a game, and be a great on the closeouts. Like that's gonna be a missing piece that they need to fill for sure.
The one thing I trust in Frank Vogel is that he will preach defense. So whoever comes there will have an understanding that, hey, your role is this, whether it's a 3-point shooter, but you have to play defense. Because when the Lakers won, that's what ended up happening. They shut down Miami once Bam got injured and Jimmy was exhausted from doing everything. Yeah. They played enough defense to slow them down and to beat them down. That's how they won. That's what they'll need to do against Kawhi and Paul George and the rest of the Western Conference teams that are vying to, get back to the NBA championship. So I believe in Frank.
I do too. As a betting man, wait, don't I still owe you? I lost a bet to you.
No, you paid up your bet. You paid up your bet. Okay, you're good. Yeah, okay. You're good. You're a good man.
How do you think Golden State's going to do this year?
I think it's tough. Klay coming off like 2 significant injuries could ultimately affect whether he is the same superstar that he once was, or if that injury, those 2 back-to-back injuries on major parts of your bodies, especially for an NBA player, is too much. Steph Curry has done everything that he possibly could. James Wiseman's going into year 2. I mean, he's going to be getting better, but it has shown that you're going to need a little bit more help offensively, and I don't think that they have it there. They might be, again, at best, high ceiling, a 4 seed in the Western Conference, just the way that it sort of lines up with how these big boy teams are doing. If they can make a trade, if they can do a Wiggins and something to get another star or have a big splash sign-wise, they could easily be in the top 3. Like they're one piece away from being able to do it because Steph Curry's that good.
Wow. Man, he lit the NBA world on fire in
Yep.
was it May? No, it was April or May. I mean, what was he averaging? Like 35 or 39? It was crazy. And like, yeah, I'm with you. We don't know the health of Klay Thompson, and we don't know what he's going to look like. I mean, Kevin Durant bounced back. I mean, KD looked awesome, and certainly in that Eastern Conference semifinals, like him going head-to-head with Giannis, putting the team on his back without Kyrie, without James. Oh, I hope, just as a fan of basketball, that Klay can regain his 2018 and 2019 form and just be elite again, because that team's so exciting. It's so fun. The way they moved the ball, it was just crazy. It was awesome.
Yeah. I mean, and if he was just coming off one injury, you'd be like, okay, we can see players have done it. But it's like the ACL and then the Achilles, it's like maybe we're asking a little bit too much of father time here. Cap, last question to get you out of here. Last creativity one. If there was a March Madness style bracket for the top fictional characters in sports movies, who would be your 4 number 1 seeds?
Excellent question. Okay, I'm going to need a little bit of time here.
You got it, man. You got it. It's tough.
Okay,
it's tough.
Okay. Okay, I have 1. I have 2. This is excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, hold on. Is this guy a 1 seed? Is he a 1 seed? Oh man. No, he's not. So I was debating Willie Beeman from Any Given Sunday. Is Willie Beeman a 1 seed? But I'm not going to give him a 1 seed. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now I just need my 4 seed. Sorry, my 4th 1 seed. My 4th 1 seed is. Got it. All right. Here we go. This is an emotional 1 seed. I don't know. So I'm going to say the most controversial 1 seed first. Denzel Washington as Coach Boom and Remember the Titans. Okay, that's my controversial number 1 seed. Now I'm going to win the viewers and listeners over with this pick. Bill Murray in the bowling movie. Bill Murray in, oh my gosh. Goodness.
Is it Kingpin?
Kingpin, thank you. Bill Murray in Kingpin is a 1 seed. All right.
Okay.
Wesley Snipes in White Man Can't Jump. Sydney. What the hell is this cat? Sydney something. Sydney Dean, I think, is his character's name. Yep. He is a 1 seed. And my final number 1 seed, and this is an outstanding question, Jules. I might steal this in the future. My final 1 seed is Will Ferrell in Talladega Nights as Ricky Bobby. Yeah.
Ooh. Okay. Wow.
Okay, so since you created the question, you must have your own answer for the 4 1 seeds.
Okay, so I mean, like you, it's tough. It took a little bit of time. I liked Jesus Shuttlesworth as the 4th of the 1 seed. So he's like my bottom tier of number 1 seed.
Yeah.
I like, don't laugh, but I love Keanu, The Replacements, Falco, I think his last name was.
Yeah.
He's my 3rd number 1 seed. My 2nd number 1 seed was from was Walter Matthau in the original Bad News Bears, the 1973 version. If you haven't seen it,
I have not seen that. Okay, I like that you went deep into the filmography of sports movies.
It's as controversial as there come. That movie cannot be made today, but you'll enjoy it for its time. And then my number 1 overall seed in the tournament, I have his Funko Pop staring me in my head right now. Ricky Vaughn, the Wild Thing Major League.
Okay.
Those would be, I mean, it's not like the greatest of the greats, but you're going to have some entertaining matchups. You're going to have some huge blow-ups. You're going to have some sticky stuff in the palm. You might have some boozing on the bench.
That's a great list.
So, I mean, it's an interesting set of four, but I love sports movies. I love, you know, the hijinks that people get into. So it was one of my things that I thought you would definitely have a great opinion on, and you did not disappoint.
Thanks, man. Great question, Jose. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Give me something to think about. You stumped me, but I think I came through with an all right 4-1 seeds.
Yeah, I can't pull any by you, Cab. You're a consummate professional,
and we don't even know what the tournament would be. Like, no. I like that you just left that open ended, so it's for whoever's interpretation.
Yeah, we could go many different ways. I mean, it is plentiful. It is plentiful if we wanted to. Now, if people wanted to follow you, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you don't have a TikTok account, which, you know,
I'm not a 12-year-old girl. I'm just kidding. I'm like half kidding. No, listen, I know that TikTok is huge, and it's their algorithms are even like more perfect for what we want to see, because it just feeds us. We just keep descending into this wormhole of like people dancing or people eating or funny videos or whatever it is. But TikTok, they've got us hooked. On Twitter, it's just Cabbie is my handle. And on Instagram, it's The Real Cabbie. That's basically where I'm at.
Do you think, my last question, just real quick, because it's going to segue to something depending on your answer. Do you think the Blue Jays are good enough to make the playoffs this year?
Yes. They just signed Berrios, who had a great debut. Their hitting, we know their hitting is legit. Obviously, Springer and Vladdy and Teoscar. I haven't looked at his numbers recently, but Vladdy's an absolute stud. Yeah, I think they have enough. The pitching is always a concern, and Russ Atkins went and got a pitcher and mortgaged a little bit of the future, but that's what you got to do as a GM. So, you know, I love Bichette, love Biggio, which Biggio would hit a little bit better. Bichette too. I think they can make the playoffs. Okay. Yankees are terrible. Rays are always going to be there. Boston is best in the AL. It's a tough division, as we know, but I think they can make a run.
All right, so here
fingers crossed.
I have a wager. I got a wager then, on the spot. I'm a Boston Red Sox fan. Obviously, you cheer for the Blue Jays. I will take the Red Sox winning the division. They have to win the division in order for me to win, and the Blue Jays need to make the playoffs in order for you to win. If you lose, you have to start a TikTok account.
I think I started one. Full disclosure, I just have never created a TikTok.
Okay. So you'll have to create an account if you haven't, and then post a trending dance.
Oh my
one time,
Lord.
one time. Just if the Blue Jays, if the Red Sox win the division, and if the Blue Jays make the playoffs.
So what if both happen?
Oh man, that's a great question. So we might need to run this back and do a little bit more.
We got to agree to the terms now, because we have to know what the terms are, so I can root against Bogarts and Devers and JD Martinez, all those dudes. Okay, if we can't figure it out, we'll offline it. But if we can't figure it out, then I'm cool with a brown face, $100 on the bet.
Down. Always a pleasure taking your money. I mean, wagering with you. Listen, Cab, consummate professional, 50th episode, 3-time guest. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I appreciate you and all of the amazing guests that I've had on the show, you know, granting me the time and platform to do this. I couldn't have done any of this without you guys, so I appreciate that. You know, stay safe. If you haven't gotten vaxxed yet, people, you know, the numbers are trending in the wrong direction in many parts of the world. We need to, you know, rein it in just a little bit. But, let's get back to a little bit of normalcy, because I want to be able to, see Cab in Toronto at the Rec Room having some fun and some adult bevies.
I can't
wait. The only way that happens is if we get back to some normalcy. So stay safe, everyone. Cab, love you. My dude, appreciate everything that
Very
you
welcome.
continue to do and helping me and other, podcasters out. Thank you so much. So please make sure you check out Cab on Twitter, on Instagram, soon to be on TikTok with videos. The Big O Podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts. So make sure you subscribe, leave an Apple review, and hit the subscribe button on YouTube. We're dropping videos every single week with some fun, dope content. For my guest, Cabbie the Goat Richards, I am your host, Julian Ortiz. Thank you for watching and listening. Have a great night, everybody.
Peace, homie.